Hi, 8th graders. So we have covered how to find a line of best fit. So the first thing we need to do is graph the given data. So we're going to graph the data that has been given to us. Sometimes it's already going to be given to us, okay? So part of graphing this data is putting in a balanced line. So we need to draw in a balanced line. We call this the line of best fit. Then next, we are going to choose 2 points that our line goes through. Now remember, points are written as x, comma, y. Just as a reminder. Now, 3, we have to find m. Just a quick reminder about finding m. M is our slope. So remember, that's when we do the how many steps, and we stack them on top of each other, and then we get some things. So let's look at this. If I did 2, 10 and 4, 20, I would say right here at the 2, to go to 4, I went up 2 steps. 10 to 20, I went up 10 steps. So then my slope would be 10 over 2, and then I always have to double check to simplify that down to 5. Okay? So just as a quick reminder about that. Step 4 is find B. So to find B, we have to substitute in M and 1 point. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that review of linear equations that we covered about 2 months ago. And then step 5 is to write the equation of a line. Okay, so let's look at this. I'm going to zoom in for just a second, and what we're going to look at is specifically that box of chocolates to flowers. All right, so let's look at this. There we go. All right, so now I can see that yes, this makes a linear equation because I can put in a line. Now, some lines are better than others, so let's talk about this. I'm going to just draw in a couple of lines with my straight tools, and we'll talk about each one. All right. So let's talk about each one of these lines. So let's talk about that red line first. So the red line doesn't even follow the data point, so it wouldn't be a very good choice because I can see that the orange and the blue lines tend to go with the data points. They're sloping downwards or they're decreasing. So that red line, let's just get it out of there. Okay, but now between the blue line and the orange line, well, I see that the blue line goes through one of my data points, but it's really far away from the other 4 data points. So that's not really a great choice. So let's get it out of there. But what about that orange line? So when we have that orange line in here, it went through one of our data points for sure, and then 2 data points are above the line and 2 data points are below the line. I would consider this a balanced point, okay? There are other ways to make a balanced point. So if I went in and I made it again, I keep coming up with one actually very similar to what we had before. I could make it go through those 2 points. And that's a somewhat balanced line. Either way, it's okay. From this point forward, there's going to be differences between your work, my work, and your partner's work next to you in class. And that's okay. When we're working with scatter plots and coming up with lines of best fit, things look different. And that's just fine. So don't let that worry you. So for this part, we have to choose 2 points that are on our line. Oh, and look here, we've got these 2 points that are on my line. So I'm going to label those 2 points. The first one is 20, 15. So people buy 20 flowers, then there's 15 people that bought chocolates. The other one is 30, 10. So this is where I do the how many steps. So I started at 20 and I went to 30. I took 10 positive steps. I went forward. Okay, I was at 15 and I walked to 10 and I walked 5 steps, but those are negative 5 steps. So now I write my slope is 5, because remember these are our y numbers, these are our x numbers, over 10, or simplified down, m equals 1/2, negative 1/2. Super easy, great. Now, I always choose for the next part the lowest numbers I've got. The 20 and the 15 are my smallest numbers. So now I'm going on to step 4 of our notes, and our step 4 says, well, I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. So now I'm going to put in y is 15, m is negative 1/2 times 20 equals plus b. Okay, so now I have to simplify what I can, and I can see that I can times negative 1/2 times by 20, and that gives me negative 10, and I haven't done anything with anything else, so everything else just comes down at this point. Now, I see that what's bothering the b is that negative 10, so the opposite of negative 10 is adding 10 to both sides. So now I have 25 equals b. Now my final step was to write my equation. Well, my equation in my line must have y and it must have x. And then m we replace with the number we found, which is negative 1/2. And then we add 25 because that's the b. That is the final answer. I know in class we had different numbers because we had a different line. So the notes that you'll see in class are a little bit different than the notes that are online, and that's okay, guys. There's a little bit of room for error. All right, go forth, do your homework, and I'll see you in class. Bye.